NASA finally revealed insane plans on human Mars mission. As we study in our textbooks, Mars shares many systems with Earth. Mars has an atmosphere, hydrosphere, cryosphere, and lithosphere. Air, water, ice, and geology interact to create Mars' environment. So tell me in the comments section, has Mars also been a source of fascination for you, as it was discovered as a star-like object in the night sky? So hey guys, welcome back to Space Webb. Today, I'll unveil some insane future plans related to Mars mission in the next few minutes. Within the next 20 years, NASA plans to send 2 astronauts to Mars for the first time. It was only recently that NASA unveiled its preliminary plans for a crewed mission to Mars' surface, including models of a habitable environment and spacecraft. Officials from the U.S. Space Agency released a lengthy video in which they laid out initial plans for a 30-day mission to Mars. By 2040, the goal is to send astronauts to the red planet's surface, but with a journey that will take 500 days, Mars will remain a formidable challenge. A large spacecraft with a hybrid rocket stage is expected to be used by NASA to transport astronauts to the surface of Mars. Prior to the manned spaceflight, a robotic mission will distribute a large number of critical supplies and equipment. The supplies will be waiting for the astronauts at their destination. As part of this mission, 2 astronauts will land on Mars, while the remaining 2 will remain in their spacecraft. Now, let's see the whole matter from the very beginning. Look back to the late 1800s when telescopes for the first time revealed a surface full of fascinating features. These features included patterns and landforms that scientists at first incorrectly ascribed to a bustling civilization on Mars. As of right now, we are aware that there are no man-made structures on Mars. However, we have also discovered that the arid and poisonous planet that existed 3.5 billion years ago may have once been just as habitable as the planet we call home today. Since the 1960s, people have been interested in learning what Mars can teach us about how planets develop and evolve over time, and whether or not it has ever been home to life from other worlds. The journey to the red planet has only been completed by unmanned spacecraft up until this point, but that could soon change. The year 2030 is the target for NASA's first manned mission to Mars, and the space agency plans to launch a number of new missions in the interim to further the planet's exploration. But why are these journeys so important? As well as humans have learned about Mars through decades of exploration. Why exploration on Mars? Everything that we've learned about Mars in the past century suggests that the planet was once quite capable of hosting ecosystems, and that it may still be an incubator for microbial life today. This conclusion is based on everything that we know about Mars. After Earth, Mars is the next rock in order of distance from the Sun. It has a gravity that is only 38% that of Earth, despite being slightly larger than half the size of Earth. Although it takes it longer to complete a full orbit around the Sun than it does for Earth, the rate at which it rotates around its axis is roughly the same. Because of this, a year on Mars is equivalent to 687 days on Earth, and the difference between a day on Mars and a day on Earth is only 40 minutes longer. In spite of its smaller size, the land area of the planet is roughly equivalent to the surface area of Earth's continents. This means that, at least in theory, Mars has the same amount of real estate that is habitable. Unfortunately, the planet is now encased in a thin layer of carbon dioxide, and as a result, it is unable to support the existence of life on Earth. In addition, methane gas may occasionally be detected in the atmosphere of this parched world, and the soil may contain compounds that are harmful to life as we know it. Although there is water on Mars, it is not accessible to humans because it is frozen in the planet's polar caps and buried, possibly in large quantities, beneath the surface of the red planet. Future of Mars exploration. It only happens once every 26 months, but when it does, Earth and Mars are aligned in a way that cuts down on travel times and expenses. This alignment makes it possible for spacecraft to make the journey between the planets in about 6 months. It is common practice for the space agencies of Earth to send out probes into space during these conjunctions. The next one will take place in the summer of 2020. In this window, spacecraft are being sent to Mars by 3 different nations: the United Arab Emirates, China, and the United States. China launched its Tianwen-1 spacecraft on July 23rd, and the United States is currently targeting July 30th for the launch of its Determination and Hard Work rover. The United Arab Emirates launched its Hope spacecraft on July 20th, and it will orbit Mars to study the planet's atmosphere and weather patterns. The Perseverance rover is a large vehicle that has 6 wheels and is outfitted with a variety of high-tech instruments. Its objective is Jezero Crater, which was once the site of a river delta and is thought to have been a favorable environment for the development of life in the distant past. Once it has reached the surface of Mars, the Perseverance rover will conduct research on the local climate and weather, test technologies that might be able to aid humans in surviving on Mars, and collect samples from dozens of different rocks that will later be brought back to Earth. It is a true life-finding mission for Mars, with one of its goals being to assist in determining whether Mars was inhabited in the past or is inhabited in the present. All of the activity that is being done by robots is, of course, preparing the way for humans to be transported to the next world over. NASA has set the 2030s as a realistic goal for the first humans to set foot on Mars, and the organization is currently working on a spacecraft called Orion that will be able to transport people to the moon and possibly even further into space. Companies specializing in private space travel, such as SpaceX, are also entering the competition to colonize Mars. Elon Musk, the chief executive officer of SpaceX, has stated on multiple occasions that in order for humanity to survive, we need to become a multi-planetary species. Currently, Musk is working on a plan that could see 1 million people living on Mars before the end of this century. Past missions, major discoveries. There have been numerous missions to Mars also there since the 1960s. To begin, spacecraft flew by the planets and snapped away at the scenery. Later, Mars probes were launched into space, and more recently, rovers and landers have landed on the surface. It's difficult to get spacecraft to Mars, and even more difficult to land it on the surface. More than 60% of landing attempts on Mars have failed due to the thin atmosphere. It has already been accomplished by 4 space agencies: NASA, the European Space Agency, or ESA, and the Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO. The United States is the only country to have successfully landed a craft on the surface of the planet 8 times. Hope and Tianwen-1 missions from the United Arab Emirates and China could join that group if they arrive on the Red Planet in February 2021. When NASA's Mariner 4 spacecraft visited Mars in July 1965, it captured the first close-up images of the planet. The first Soviet spacecraft entered orbit around Mars in 1971. Mars 3 was the name given to the spacecraft that returned nearly 8 months of data on the topography, atmosphere, weather, and geology of the planet. An Earth lander was also deployed, but it only provided data for about 20 seconds before going silent. NASA's MAVEN orbiter, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, and Mars Odyssey are all transmitting data from orbit, as are the Mars Express and Trace Gas Orbiter from ESA, as well as India's Mars Orbiter mission. Together, these missions have demonstrated to scientists that Mars is a dynamic world, rich in the elements necessary for life as we know it: water, organic carbon, and a source of energy. It's now up to us to answer, is there life on Mars? You all can tell me in the comments. But I think in the not-too-distant future, people will likely learn, one way or another, whether or not the planet that is nearby ever supported life, as well as whether or not there is a potential home for our species in another universe. So, this was all about this video. I hope you like the information given in the video, and if you have anything on your mind, feel free to comment below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get more videos like this. Also, hit the bell icon to get the notification of the latest updates on the channel, and thanks for watching!